Hello, my friends. It's Laura the Teach. I've got a special treat for you today. An author and illustrator, a husband and wife team, the Woods. Audrey Wood is the author and Don Wood is the illustrator. They wrote a fun special book called The Napping House. Since it's a rainy day outside at my house today, I thought it'd be a good book to read because it makes me sleepy. As you can see, my Maggie in the background, she's been kind of hanging out with me and sleeping on her own. And there's Rosie going up to say hi to her as well. So my animals like to hang out with me when I do work with you because they love to learn and they love stories too. So this is The Napping House. The author is Audrey Wood and the illustrator is her husband, Don Wood. The Napping House. Now look at that picture. It says, there is a house, a napping house, where everyone is sleeping. Such a calming book. Everything is really peaceful in this story. And in that house there is a bed, a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. Now, there's a dog on the floor and a cat. And if we look at, there's a child in the chair. And what else can we see in this picture? There's a mouse on top of the mirror. And on top of the chair, there's a very tiny flea. See that? See the mouse on top of the mirror? Kind of hard to see it a little bit. So there's that page right there. And on that bed, there is a granny, a snoring granny, on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. Now, every time I turn the page, you're going to see that they've moved a little. So there's the granny, and the dog put a pillow over his head because Granny snores so loud. The mouse is moving a little, and the flea's still on top of the chair, but the little boy is walking over to Granny. And the cat kind of changed its position too. See the rain falling outside? Granny's got her mouth wide open because she's snoring. And on that granny, there is a child, a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. Let's see what everyone did this time. Look at that. That child got right on top of Granny. And the dog is stretching. The cat's moved a little. Where'd that mouse go? Oh, it's still up on top of that mirror. But look at the chair. The flea moved, didn't it? Instead of being at the very top, now it's right here on the chair. So everything changes in every picture. Even Granny's position in the bed changes. And on that child, there is a dog. A dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. Now let's see. There's the flea, but look at the cat. What's that cat doing? It got up and it yawned, and the mouse is still on the mirror. But now the dog is on top of the child who's on top of the granny. And it's still raining outside. And on that dog, there is a cat, a snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. The flea moved over here, and the mouse is now by the bottom of the picture. And everyone else is in the bed. And it's still raining outside. And on that cat, there is a mouse. A slumbering mouse, on a snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. Now, the flea's over here, and everyone else is on that bed. And it's still raining. What's going to happen next? And on that mouse, there is a flea. Now, I don't know if you know about fleas, but they bite. Can it be a wakeful flea on a slumbering mouse, on a snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping? Now look at everybody's on the bed now. What is going to happen? Remember what I told you about fleas? They bite. A wakeful flea who bites the mouse. Look at that. It bit the mouse and the mouse went eek and flew up. So what's going to happen next? Who scares the cat? Who claws the dog? Who thumps the child? Who bumps the granny? Look at everyone's going crazy. Ah, Granny says. Who breaks the bed? They don't look very upset about that though. And look at outside, it stopped raining. In the napping house where no one now is sleeping. Look at that, the sun came out and there's a rainbow after the rain. Wasn't that a fun story? I love that story. I used to read it to my kids. Have a wonderful afternoon, boys and girls.